You see her at the range, blending in with the others, her movements precise but unassuming. She's just another shooter, right? That's how it seems. You don't expect anything special from her at first. The typical crowd is here today. Veterans, hobbyists, those just looking for a bit of target practice. But there's something different about her. A calm in her demeanor that you don't usually see from others. She doesn't fidget or adjust her grip like everyone else. There's a fluidity to her that suggests she's done this before, many times. When you glance at her face, you notice a stillness, a focused intensity that most can't maintain. Her eyes, sharp and precise, remain locked on the target, as though the entire world has faded away. It's a skill many have, but few master it the way she has. You don't think much of it at first. People at the range are often like that, quiet, focused, keeping to themselves. But then, as you watch her take shot after shot, there's an odd feeling in your gut. Something doesn't sit right. You begin to wonder, who is she really? What's her story? As she pulls the trigger, her shots are eerily perfect. One after another, they land in the same spot, cutting through the bullseye with the kind of precision you rarely see. And suddenly, the realization hits you. This isn't just another regular shooter. She's something else, something more. The feeling in your gut intensifies, but you can't quite place why. Then it happens. Another person at the range, a grizzled man who's been watching her from the corner of the room, walks over. You notice his eyes gleam with a mix of recognition and curiosity. There's an air of respect about him. It's like he's waiting for the right moment, and now he's chosen it. "Nice shots," he says, his voice gruff but measured. "Where'd you learn to shoot like that?" She doesn't look up immediately. Instead, she takes one more shot before responding, the last of her mag. "A long time ago," she finally replies. Her voice is calm but carries weight, like there's more to her than what she's showing. The man doesn't push further, but there's a moment of quiet understanding between them. You notice it too. Something in the air shifts. You're left there, wondering. What's her story? Who's she really? Then, as if reading your thoughts, she stands up and walks toward the counter to reload. The man lingers for a moment longer, glancing at you, as if considering whether to explain. Instead, he turns, follows her lead, and doesn't say another word. You don't ask any more questions, but the moment stays with you. What made her so different from everyone else at the range? There's something hidden beneath the surface, something waiting to come out. Days pass, but that encounter at the range sticks with you. You can't shake the feeling that something about that woman, her calm, her focus, her perfect aim, was far more than just natural talent. And then, just as you're starting to let it go, you see her again. This time, it's not at the range. It's in a small cafe you frequent. She's seated by the window alone with a cup of coffee in front of her, staring out at the world as though she's waiting for something. You hesitate for a moment, wondering if you should say something, but you don't. Instead, you find yourself observing her from a distance, her composed silence drawing you in. There's something about her that's magnetic, and you can't quite put your finger on it. What's her story? Why do you feel like you've stumbled upon a part of her that she's trying to keep hidden? A few moments later, she stands and heads toward the door. You're tempted to speak up, to ask more questions, but she beats you to it. As she walks past, she stops just long enough to glance at you, her sharp eyes locking with yours. There's a hint of a smile, almost as if she knows what's been running through your mind. But before you can say anything, she's gone. It's then that you overhear the conversation between the barista and an older man who's sitting nearby, sipping his espresso. The man looks like he's seen a few battles in his time, and you're about to tune out when you catch his words. "She was trained by him," he mutters, so softly you almost miss it. You wouldn't believe it, but she was trained by the legendary sniper. He chose her. You freeze, the words hanging in the air like a thunderclap. Trained by him? The legendary sniper? You've heard the stories. Whispers of a sniper who could make any shot, who seemed to have an uncanny ability to hit his target no matter the distance. He was a legend, but nobody knew who he was or where he'd come from. All anyone knew was that he had the skills to make the impossible seem easy. Now it's clear, this woman, this quiet, focused shooter, has been trained by him. The very same sniper whose name only the most seasoned veterans spoke about in awe. Your mind races. Could it really be true? You feel a sudden surge of excitement and curiosity. Who was this woman really? What did it mean that she had been trained by someone so legendary? You glance back at the door, as if expecting her to walk back in, but she's long gone. Over the next few days, you can't stop thinking about what you overheard. The more you reflect on it, the more pieces start to fall into place. The calm, the precision, the unshakable focus. This wasn't just a hobby for her. It was a skill honed over years of intense training. She wasn't just any marksman. She had been trained by a sniper who was practically a myth, a man whose skills were the stuff of legends. You decide to do some digging, searching online for any mention of the legendary sniper. The stories you find are enough to make your jaw drop. They describe him as a ghost, someone who only appeared when needed, taking down targets with such precision and from distances so great that they seemed impossible. He was a master of stealth, of patience, and of making every shot count. And yet, very few people knew his name. There were rumors, but no real answers. Some claimed he was a former military operative, others said he was a lone wolf, a vigilante. What was undeniable was his skill, and now, he trained her. A week later, you find yourself back at the range. You're not there to shoot, though. You're there to find out more. You linger by the counter, scanning the room, hoping for another chance encounter. And then, as if fate is working in your favor, she walks in again. This time, she doesn't notice you at first. She heads straight for the shooting lanes, her movements fluid and purposeful. You watch as she grabs her gear and prepares to shoot. There's no hesitation, no second guessing, just focus. She's completely in her element. Your heart races. This time you can't just stay in the shadows. You decide to approach her, your curiosity now boiling over. "Hey," you say, casually walking over to her. She looks up, her expression unreadable. "I couldn't help but overhear something the other day." She doesn't react immediately, just sets her sights back on the target. "Oh? I heard you were trained by him," you say, a bit bolder now. "The legendary sniper, is that true?" She doesn't flinch, doesn't look surprised. In fact, she seems almost expecting the question. For a moment, she says nothing, her eyes narrowing just slightly as if contemplating how much to reveal. Then, finally, she looks at you, her voice steady but carrying a weight that's impossible to ignore. "Yes," she says simply. "It's true." The words hang in the air between you, heavy with meaning. She trained with a sniper who had turned into a legend, a man whose name most people had only heard in whispers. But here she was, standing in front of you, someone who had been part of his secret world. Now, you have a choice. You can walk away, let this moment pass, or you can ask the question that's burning in the back of your mind. "How?" you ask, the words slipping out before you can stop it. How did he choose you? Why you? She smiles, but it's not the smile you were expecting. It's a smile that's a little sad, almost wistful. "That's a long story," she replies, "but I'll tell you this much. He saw something in me that no one else did, and that's why he trained me." Her words leave you with more questions than answers, but you can tell that she's done with the conversation. She turns her attention back to the target, raising her rifle, and just like that, the moment passes. You're left standing there, your mind spinning. What had you just learned? Who was she really? And why did it feel like you'd just stumbled onto a secret that wasn't yours to know? You step back, the lingering silence filling the air between you and her. You can still hear the sound of her steady breathing, the click of her rifle as she adjusts the scope, the faint hum of the range as other shooters take their turns. But you don't hear much else. The weight of her words hangs in the air like a shroud, and your mind races to make sense of everything you've just learned. She trained with a legendary sniper, someone who could make impossible shots look effortless, someone who had trained her to be more than just a skilled shooter, to be someone who could survive, adapt, and stay calm under pressure. And yet she had said so little, leaving you with more questions than answers. You had caught a glimpse into a world so different from the one you know, a world of precision, discipline, and secrets. For the next few hours, you try to refocus, try to push away the overwhelming curiosity that's now taking over your thoughts. You watch her shoot. Every time she pulls the trigger, the shot is perfect, hitting the bullseye with the kind of precision that makes you question everything you know about shooting. She's not just skilled, she's something else entirely. As you watch her, you start to wonder, how did she meet this legendary sniper? What kind of training did she go through to become the person standing in front of you now? And what is it that's so different about her? But you can't ask her any more questions right now. You've already overstepped. You've already learned more than you should. There's a line between curiosity and obsession, and you've already crossed it. So you stand there, quiet, pretending to focus on the targets in front of you, your mind running in 100 different directions. Later that evening, when the range is closing and you're about to head home, you see her again. This time, she's standing by the door, clearly preparing to leave. For a moment, your paths cross in the narrow hallway, and once again she gives you that same look, a glance that speaks volumes without saying a word. "You ever wonder why he trained me?" she asks, her voice breaking the silence between you like a knife through cloth. You stop, taken aback. It's as if she can read your mind, as if she knows exactly what you've been thinking about all along. "Why you?" you ask, unable to stop the question from slipping out. She shrugs, but there's something in the way she does it, a slight edge to her movement. "It wasn't just about being good with a rifle," she says slowly, her eyes locking with yours. "It was about something else, something that couldn't be taught. I guess he saw something in me. A kind of resilience that was beyond training. That's why he took me on." You're speechless. Her words hit you in a way you weren't prepared for. The sniper didn't just train her to be a perfect shot. He trained her to be more, to withstand pressure, to be calm in the chaos, to have the kind of mental toughness that only the greatest soldiers possess. You can't help but wonder, what had she been through to earn that kind of trust? What had she faced that had tested her in ways you can't even imagine? Before you can process her words, she turns and heads out the door, leaving you standing there with the unanswered questions hanging in the air like ghosts. The mystery of her story seems even more elusive now, as though she's intentionally keeping it locked away. It's clear that she's not going to open up easily. She's built walls, and whatever it is she's hiding, she's not ready to share it yet. But you can't just forget about her. The more you think about her, the more you realize that this is bigger than just a chance encounter. This woman, trained by a sniper whose name is whispered in the shadows, is a part of something far more complicated than anyone could have guessed. The sniper didn't just change her, he made her someone different, someone stronger. The next day, you find yourself back at the range, waiting for another glimpse of her. Your curiosity is undeniable, and the pull to understand her story is irresistible. But today, the world feels different. You've seen what she can do, and you've heard the whispers of what she's been trained to become. But something else nags at you now. What happens when someone with her skills gets put to the test? What would it mean if she was forced into a situation where those skills were the only thing standing between life and death? The thought is unnerving. But there's one thing that's clear. You have to know more. You need to know what she's capable of, what this legendary sniper's training has created. What did he see in her? And how did it shape her? The wait feels endless, but just as you begin to give up and turn away, you see her walk through the door. She's dressed differently today, not in the usual shooting attire, but in something more casual, something that stands out among the usual crowd. But there's still that same sense of calm about her, that quiet confidence. You can feel the weight of the moment, knowing that something is about to change. Today, you can't just watch from the sidelines. Today, you have to speak up to find out what's been kept in the shadows. You walk toward her, your heart pounding in your chest, but this time, you're not afraid to ask the questions that have been burning in your mind. What happens when you're put to the test? You ask, your voice almost a whisper. When everything comes down to your training, what happens then? She looks at you, her eyes narrowing for a moment as if measuring your intent. For a brief second, it feels like she's sizing you up, trying to figure out how much to reveal. And then, with an almost imperceptible sigh, she answers. "You don't know until it happens," she says quietly, her voice low but steady. "But when it does, you learn what you're really made of." Her words hit you harder than you expected. The way she says it, the calm, the certainty, there's no doubt in her voice. She's been tested, and now, with everything she's been trained to do, it's no longer about proving herself to anyone. It's about survival. As the words hang in the air, a sense of finality washes over you. You don't know until it happens, she said. The weight of that statement sinks in. It's the quiet truth that everyone who's been through the fire knows but rarely speaks aloud. The real test, the one that defines you, doesn't come when things are calm, when you're at the range, hitting bullseyes in a controlled environment. It comes when everything goes wrong, when there's no room for second chances. You try to process what she just told you. Your mind flashes back to what you've learned about her. She was trained by a legendary sniper, someone who'd become a myth in military circles. The sniper had trained her not only in shooting, but in something deeper, mental resilience, the ability to stay calm in the chaos, and the will to push through even when the odds seemed impossible. As you stand there, watching her, you can see the depth of what she's carrying. It's not just the rifle, it's everything she's learned. The knowledge that she's been to places, mentally and physically, that most people can't even fathom. It's in the way she moves, the way she speaks, calm, controlled, like nothing can rattle her. So what's your story, you ask again, your curiosity burning stronger than ever. This time, her response isn't immediate. She looks at you with that same steady gaze, as though deciding how much of the truth she's willing to reveal. After a long pause, she finally speaks. "I didn't ask for it," she says softly. "The training, I mean. I didn't sign up for any of it. But when someone like him offers you the chance to learn from the best, you don't say no." The simplicity of her words stuns you. Here you are, standing in front of someone who could do things most people would only dream about, and she's telling you that she didn't choose this. The sniper, who had been a figure of legend, had chosen her. And now, after all this time, you realize something. She's not just a product of his training. She's someone who, despite everything, still carries the burden of that decision. Why did he choose you, you ask, the question escaping before you can stop it. She doesn't answer right away. Instead, she looks down at the floor, as if weighing her next words carefully. Then, without looking up, she finally speaks. "Because I was broken," she says quietly. "I was someone who had nothing left. I was ready to disappear, to fade into the background. But he saw something in me, something I didn't even see in myself, and he pulled me back from that edge." The vulnerability in her voice takes you by surprise. The woman you've been watching with such fascination, the one who exudes nothing but confidence and control, was once someone who had been on the verge of disappearing. She wasn't always the strong, unshakable person standing in front of you. "I didn't ask for the training," she repeats, her voice steady now, like the calm before a storm. "But it was the only thing that gave me purpose. He gave me a reason to keep going, to fight, to get back up every time I fell." You feel a shift in the atmosphere as her words settle between you. The sniper wasn't just a teacher to her. He was a lifeline. He was someone who saw her potential when she couldn't see it herself, and that made all the difference. Her story isn't just about being trained to shoot. It's about someone giving her a chance when the world had written her off. "Do you regret it?" you ask, your voice softer now. She finally looks up, meeting your gaze. For the first time, you see something like a smile tug at the corner of her lips, but it's faint, almost bittersweet. "No," she says, shaking her head. "I don't regret it, because now I know what I'm capable of. But I also know what it costs. And sometimes, that's a price you can't come back from." Her words linger, and for the first time, you understand the full weight of what she's carrying. The training, the skills, the discipline, it all comes at a cost. It's not just about shooting well or making impossible shots. It's about living with the knowledge of what you've been trained to do. It's about knowing that you're capable of things that most people could never imagine. And with that comes a responsibility you can't escape. You stand in silence, trying to process everything she's shared. She doesn't push you to speak, doesn't rush you to respond. She lets you sit with her words, knowing that they'll sink in on their own. After a long moment, she stands, slinging her rifle over her shoulder. "You probably think you know what it's like," she says, her voice now low and serious. "But you don't. Not really. The world doesn't see the cost. They only see the shots we make, the targets we hit. They don't see the sacrifices we make to get there. You want to ask more, to probe deeper into the layers of her story, but you know now isn't the time. There's a finality in her voice, a quiet decision that this conversation has reached its end. With a small nod, she turns and walks away, leaving you standing there, caught in the whirlwind of emotions she's just stirred up. She's not the person you thought she was, the woman who could hit every target with deadly accuracy, the woman who had trained with a sniper of legend. She was more than just a soldier. She was a survivor, someone who had fought her own internal battles and come out stronger on the other side. You can't shake the feeling that her story is only just beginning, and now it's yours to keep. The world might never know the real cost of training like hers, of becoming someone who can face unimaginable situations and still keep going. But you'll never forget the quiet, the unspeakable weight that comes with it. As you turn and walk out of the range, you carry her story with you. It's a reminder that the greatest warriors are often the ones who have been broken and rebuilt, who have learned to turn their scars into strength. You don't know where this journey will take you, but you do know one thing. It's going to change you forever. The next few days feel different, as though the world is shifting in subtle ways you can't quite understand. Her story lingers in your mind, playing over and over again like a recording you can't turn off. There's something in the quiet way she spoke, the vulnerability beneath the hardened exterior, that has you questioning everything you thought you knew about strength and survival. You return to the range, but this time it's not to watch her shoot. No, today you're here for yourself. Her words have dug deep into you, forcing you to confront something you hadn't realized was there, your own sense of purpose. For so long you've gone through the motions of life, comfortable in your routine, thinking you knew what it meant to face challenges. But what did you really know about true resilience? What did you know about pushing yourself beyond your limits? You can't ignore the questions anymore. You've been to the range enough times to know that there's a precision to everything, every movement, every shot, every breath. But today, you're not just here to shoot targets. You're here to find something. Maybe it's not about hitting a bullseye. Maybe it's about discovering your own potential, your own limits. You load your rifle and the familiar sense of calm washes over you. The sound of the range fades as you take your position, breathing in the sharp, metallic air. This is where you're at peace, where you find yourself. Except now, there's something more. There's a fire inside you, a hunger you didn't know existed. You take the first shot, then the second, your aim as steady as ever. But it's different this time. There's more intention behind each shot. With every pull of the trigger, you feel that hunger grow, a need to prove something to yourself. Maybe it's because of what she said. Maybe it's because you know what it means to push beyond the surface, to test your own limits. As you shoot, your mind flashes back to her quiet strength, her vulnerability, the way she spoke about survival. She didn't just train to be a killer, a perfect shot. She trained to be something more, someone who could withstand the hardest battles, who could take on the world without flinching. She's the kind of person who could be pushed to the edge, only to rise again, stronger and more focused than before. The shots keep coming, each one landing closer to the center. It's not just about hitting the target anymore. It's about proving to yourself that you have what it takes to push through, to break through the walls you've built. You don't need to be someone else. You don't need to live up to some mythical standard. You just need to find what's inside you and let it shine. Then, as if the universe itself is testing you, something happens. The rifle jams. It's a small thing, but it throws you off. You stop, momentarily frustrated, and begin to clear the jam. It's a simple fix, but the small inconvenience forces you to pause, to rethink. How do you respond when things don't go the way you expect? How do you react when you face the kind of challenge that's unexpected and out of your control? You fix the jam and take another breath. The world slows down, and in that moment, you feel a connection to something greater. It's the same feeling she must have had when she trained under that legendary sniper, when she was pushed to become something more than she was before. The struggle, the setbacks, they're all part of the process. It's not about perfection. It's about learning to stay calm, to keep moving forward, and to adapt to whatever comes your way. With your rifle ready again, you take aim and fire. The shot is perfect. Calm, controlled, the kind of shot that makes everything else fade into the background. For a brief moment, you feel like you've crossed over into something new. This isn't just about hitting a target. This is about the realization that you can handle anything that comes your way. You can rise above the chaos. You can push through when the world tries to stop you. You stand there for a moment, the weight of your rifle in your hands, the sweat on your brow, and the understanding that has settled into your bones. You're not the person you were when you walked into this place. You're someone different, someone who has tasted what it means to be tested, to break through, and to emerge stronger. And you know that's what makes a true warrior, not the perfection of their skills, but the strength of their will. Just then, you hear a familiar sound, footsteps, approaching from behind. You don't have to turn to know it's her. You recognize the quiet confidence in her stride, the same unshakable calm she carries wherever she goes. She stops a few feet behind you, standing in silence as she watches you. You don't need to say anything. There's nothing to prove, no more questions to ask. She knows. You'll never really know what you're capable of until you're pushed beyond your limits, she says softly, her voice steady, like it always is. But when you reach that point, you'll realize there's always more inside you, more than you ever thought possible. Her words echo in your mind as you turn to face her. There's no grand moment of revelation, no sudden transformation. But there's something between you now, a shared understanding of what it means to be pushed, to be tested, and to find strength in places you never knew existed. Thanks, you say, the words slipping out before you can stop them. It's a simple thank you, but it carries weight. An acknowledgement of the impact she's had on you, of the lessons she's unknowingly taught you. She nods, her expression unchanged. There's no need for further words. She knows that you've understood. And for the first time, you realize that you don't need to know her entire story. You don't need to understand every detail of her past to appreciate the strength she's shown, the courage she's cultivated. You don't need to be like her. You just need to find your own path and walk it with the same resilience. She turns and walks away, disappearing into the distance as you stand there, rifle in hand. And for a moment, everything feels possible. Whatever comes next, you're ready. The weeks that follow are a blur of quiet transformation. You can feel the change inside you, subtle but undeniable. The shots at the range are sharper now, more intentional. Your mind isn't just focused on hitting the target. It's focused on becoming the person you know you can be. The discipline you've seen in her, in the way she moves, the way she carries herself, it's something you've started to take on, piece by piece. But it's not just the rifle or the perfect shots. It's the mental clarity she taught you without ever saying a word. It's the understanding that it's not just about physical strength. It's about resilience, about refusing to break when life tries to throw you off balance. As time goes on, you find yourself reflecting more on her story, the pieces she revealed, and the parts she kept hidden. She was trained by a sniper, a legend, but it wasn't just his skills that shaped her. It was the lessons beyond the shooting range, the lessons that only the hardest training could teach. How to be calm in the chaos, how to make the impossible shot, and how to survive when you don't have anything left to give. Her words continue to echo in your mind. You'll never really know what you're capable of until you're pushed beyond your limits. And in some ways, it's a challenge to look deeper, to question what you're really made of, and to push yourself further than you thought possible. You start to notice the subtle ways your life is changing too. You're more aware of your surroundings, more focused on your actions. You're taking better care of yourself, physically, mentally. The routine you once followed now feels like it's been carved out with intention. And the more you push yourself, the more you realize that the real battle isn't against the target in front of you. It's about the person you were, the person you are, and the person you're becoming. Then, one day, you receive a message. It's from a number you don't recognize. You hesitate, your curiosity getting the best of you. You open it. You've come a long way. It's time for the next step. There's no name attached, no explanation, just those words. You freeze, your thoughts running wild. The message is cryptic, but it can only mean one thing. Someone is watching, someone is seeing the progress you've made. And somehow, this feels like more than just a random text. It feels like a call to action. A reminder that there's always more to learn, always more to give. You think about what she said. You'll never know what you're capable of until you're pushed beyond your limits. Is this the moment? Is this the test she warned you about? It's tempting to ignore the message, to brush it off as some kind of prank or mistake. But deep down, you know this is different. This is a chance to take what you've learned and apply it in a way that will truly test you. It's a chance to see how far you can go, how much further you can push yourself. So, you respond. The message is simple, almost a surrender. What's the next step? The reply is almost instant. Meet me at the range. We'll see what you've really learned. A mix of excitement and apprehension rushes through you. This is it, the moment you've been waiting for, whether you knew it or not. The woman who trained under the legendary sniper has opened the door to something bigger, and you're about to walk through it. You arrive at the range early the next day, the morning air still cool, the sun just beginning to rise. You check in with the staff, but they don't seem to know anything about the message. You're left alone, waiting in the familiar space, the scent of gunpowder thick in the air, the silence almost deafening as you stand there, rifle in hand. Then you see her. She walks in, the same quiet confidence in her step, the same calm gaze. She looks at you, and for the first time there's something different in her eyes, something that makes your pulse quicken. She doesn't need to speak. The look she gives you tells you everything. It's time. She leads you to a lane at the far end of the range, far away from the others. She gestures for you to take your place at the shooting station, her expression unreadable. "You're going to shoot the way I taught you," she says simply. "But this time, it's different. There's no room for mistakes. There's no room for doubt." You feel the weight of her words, the pressure building. This isn't just about hitting the target. This is about proving something, not to her, not to anyone else, but to yourself. You take a deep breath, steadier than you've ever been before. You load your rifle, and for a moment everything else fades away. The noise of the range, the distant sounds of other shooters, the pressure of the moment, all of it falls away. It's just you, the rifle, and the target. The first shot rings out, echoing in the still air. It's perfect. The target is dead center, just as it's supposed to be. You don't stop there. You continue, shot after shot, each one landing where it should. No hesitation, no doubt. It's as though all the training, all the lessons, everything you've learned over the past few weeks has come together in this one moment. She watches you quietly, not saying a word, but you know she's watching, waiting to see what you've learned. With every shot, you feel yourself moving further away from the person you were, the person who had doubts and uncertainties. You're stepping into something bigger, something stronger. After what feels like an eternity, you finish. The shots are all in the bullseye, each one perfectly executed. You lower the rifle, your hands steady, your breathing controlled. The adrenaline still pulses through you, but there's no fear, no hesitation, only clarity. She steps forward, her expression unchanged, but there's something in the way she looks at you, respect, maybe even a hint of pride. "You did well," she says, "better than I expected." And in that moment you realize something. This wasn't just about becoming a better shot. This was about discovering what you're truly capable of. It was about finding that strength within you that you didn't know existed. The legendary sniper didn't just train her to shoot. He trained her to survive, to adapt, to push past every limit. And now you've learned the same thing. You don't need anyone's approval. You don't need anyone to tell you what you can or can't do. You've already proven it to yourself. As she walks away, you feel a sense of calm settle over you, knowing that the next chapter of your life is just beginning. Whatever challenges lie ahead, you're ready.